Posted two things over here. I need everybody's eyes over here. The first one, need to solve a problem, use it says, I say, and so. This is a problem solving strategy. So I am going to model this for you, and as I do this, what I write, I want you writing on your paper. And I'm going to step out after each step, I'm going to ask you questions to see if you notice what I did. Okay? But as I do it, I'm going to be making some connections. And in ELA, you're taught about connections. You're taught about text-to-self connections. We call them text-to-selfie up here. You're taught about text-to-text connections, and you're taught about text-to-world connections. Y'all are familiar with those, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I've added text-to-learning because when we're talking about math and science and social studies, we also need to be connecting to what we've learned. And this is where I think we're not doing that when we read problems on our own, and this can really help us with problem solving, okay? So I will be making these connections as I go through this process, and I want you to listen for what I'm saying and what kind of connections I'm making, okay? All right, so I know when I'm solving problems, the first thing I need to do is identify my question, and here's my question. I'm going to go ahead and bracket that. Remember, if I'm doing it up here, I need you doing it too. So I'm going to bracket my question, and then I probably have some key terms in my question that I want to identify. What are the measurements of x and y? So I need to find the measurements of x and y on the smaller recycling bin. I think those are keywords. Okay? All right, everybody should have the question bracketed and the keywords boxed, just like mine. All right, that is my first step. After I read the problem and maybe make a connection, then on my chart over there, it says question. Identify and bracket the question. Identify and box keywords and information in the question. That's what I've done. All right, so now I know I'm finding x and y. I just restated my question. All right, so second step. I'm going to go back to my problem, and I'm going to find my key information, my relevant information. Relevant means important, okay? Mrs. Houston has two similar recycling bins in her office. Well, I know similar is a key concept in math that we've been studying. I know that when I see things that are similar, I know they're proportional. And I know I can make ratios. And I know we can make within and between ratios.
Remember, you're doing exactly what she's doing on the board. So she's writing, you're writing.
So I've only read the first sentence, and I've identified a key word, bless you, and I made a connection. I connected the word similar to what I know, what I've learned about similar, okay? What kind of connection is that? Text to learning. It's something I've learned in math class, okay? As you're reading problems, these are the connections I need you to make. This will help you better understand. And some of us are just reading a problem and then we go, I don't know what to do. But this is what good problem solvers do, what good readers do. They go back and read a chunk and they think about what they know, what they've learned. Okay, so let's continue. All right, pencils down. All right, so I just want to real quick go over the problem solving process that I used. This is the process that I and Coach Jones and Ms. Agu want you using every time you're solving a problem, but especially if you get stuck. I don't want to hear I don't get it if you haven't used this process, okay? If you use this process and you still don't understand it, that's different. All right, so first step, question. What does that mean to do?
Ask question.
Not ask question. What did I do?
Read the question.
Read it, okay?
And then bracket.
All right, so I read the whole problem, I made a connection, thought about it. Then I identified the question and bracketed it. What else did I do with the question part of it? Thank you for raising your hand.
Circle, you box key answers.
I boxed keywords, okay? Boxed keywords. All right, so that's the first part. After I did that, I went back to the problem, and what did I do in the problem? I didn't solve it.
You made connections.
I did make connections, but before I made a connection, I did break it down and I boxed what? Keyword. So remember, as I boxed what I thought the key words were, that's where I made my connections, okay? So I do that, did I do that for the whole problem all at once?
Yep.
No, I broke it down like she said. I did one sentence at a time. I did small chunks, okay? And that's what good readers do, that's what good problem solvers do.